Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? What a morning. I had a whole show planned and kind of got hijacked, and we'll jump into some of the draft stuff, but it's crazy time out there. Social media is a beast in and of itself, and man, it's the butterfly chaos theory. Things just go crazy, and one thing leads to another. And I want to here's what I want to do. Okay. Let me start this conversation, and I want to get to all your questions. And thank you for being here this early in the morning. I had to go earlier than normal because it was just getting out of hand, and it's just like, man, let's just talk about it. Bro Montana says, hide your popcorn, got to be a good one. Let me just say this. This is something I would always say to my students whenever I taught, my players, whenever I coach. Go to the source, okay? You have to question the source. You have to actually go to the initial write-up and don't speculate off of speculation, right? You got to go to the source, and we're going to do that today. Also, let me just say this. Disagreements are a great thing, whether it's about sports, politics, religion, don't care. Disagreements are great. And so I'm not asking anybody to agree with me. That is my show. And so, yeah, I'm going to put my opinions out there, but I want you to share your opinions as well. And disagreements are great. They're a great thing. Probably one of the biggest issues with society today is we think that people that disagree with us are our enemies. That's not true at all. And again, politically, it's been bananas, but I'm here to tell you right now, you 100% can be brothers, sisters, community, friends, whatever, with people you disagree with. And I think a lot of people are going to probably disagree with me today, and that's cool. Just like I'm going to disagree with a lot of others. There's nothing wrong with that. Love all the hashtag CCs. Appreciate you guys. Now, what's up, Jack? Says just checking in on the annual pod where John shuts down stupid rumors. It's funny because, I went back through and I was on like a weird search last night. I just went through my old tweets from this week last year. And last year, the whole topic was Debo. And I remember I tweeted out, it was on the 22nd. So today's the 19th as we are recording this. I tweeted out Debo's going to be a 49er for a long time. And it was just a simple statement, whatever else. You go through and you read those. I tweeted it out. So if you want to go check it out, and you can click on it and go through the comments. The comments are aggressive, to say the least. People calling me an idiot, delusional, whatever else. And that's cool. I don't mind that. I got pretty thick skin. But that's where we were last year. Debo's gone. People hated Debo. Blah, 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 blah. We're traded up. Blah, rah, rah. Right? Well, guess what? You jump forward a year. Where are we? You go a year before that, the same week, Ian Rappaport comes out with the Niners have honed in on Mac Jones at 3, right? Yeah, there we go. So, Jack, I appreciate you because I didn't even consider this week. It's line season. It's stuff goes on. Now, maybe this one's true, and it's all about number 5, Trey Lance. And so I want to go through and let's just talk about this. Now, I'm going to exhaust the possibilities. What's up, Brian? What's up, all the hashtag CCs? What's up, Troy? Hey, Maria. If you got Kev, dude, this is awesome. This is fun. This is fun. Now, we even got some Facebook going on. SoCal Niner Empire. What's up, Tony? Man, glad to have you here. This is awesome. Mosquito Killer, man. We got some good friends in the chat today. He says, thank you, John, for saying that. Man, again, just people that disagree are not your enemies, especially, man, if they're wearing red and gold, dude, those are your brothers. Those are your sisters, right? Anyway, that's the way I see it. So let's go to what has started all of this. And we're going to hear Kyle Shanahan during this today as well. So 2 tweets from Ian Rappaport, 1 from Daniel Jeremiah. I respect both of these guys greatly. Now, all right, here we go. what is the job of NFL insiders? Rappaport, Schefter, Tom Pelissero, whatever, any of those guys. Their job is to be the first to report what has happened. Now, man, I don't want to be mean here. Some are willing to say whatever it takes to constantly get the story first. It's not about getting it right. It's about getting it first. That's the parameters of the job. They're the first reporters, and they race and they compete against each other and all those things. So just keep that in mind. We'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll go down that alley in a second. So here's the actual tweet. 2 hours ago, Ian Rappaport at RapSheet on Twitter. I'm going to read it word for word. If you're watching this, it's on the screen, but if you're downloading this audio-wise, I'll read it word for word. Quote, sources, the hashtag 49ers have received inquiries from several teams looking into a potential trade for former number 3 pick quarterback Trey Lance. The conversations have been the result of SF fielding the calls, not making them, with teams aware that Brock Purdy is the likely future starter. Okay, so let's talk through this, because his first day says, look, Niners aren't reaching out. People are reaching out to the Niners. Yes, and they should be. Every single team should be. If you have a quarterback issue, you should turn over every single stone. Now, I will constantly say this. Nowhere does he say the 49ers are wanting to trade them, but he is saying, yeah, they're moving on with Brock Purdy as their starter. I would question that. Brock Purdy is the leader in the clubhouse, as John Lynch say. Brock Purdy should be the guy moving forward when he's healthy. He's not healthy. We have seen, how did Trey Lance lose the job? He got injured, right? How did Jimmy Garoppolo lose his job? He got injured. So those are the things. That's just the way it is. Why did Jimmy Ward lose his job? He got injured. When guys get injured, you can lose your job. We have seen that over and over and over again with the 49ers. Now, Rappaport goes back again right after that and tweets this out. Quote, while no trade is imminent and the 49ers would almost certainly want to make sure Brock Purdy's rehab continues to go as smoothly as it's been going, the interest from other teams in Lance has been there, end quote. So teams are interested. Teams are interested. Now, let's talk about this, because he said you've got to know when Brock Purdy's going to be okay. And this is the problem. I've had this ticker. I have not changed this at the bottom of the screen of the important dates of this offseason. We've had it scrolling across every single episode if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Important dates this offseason. April 17th. We just passed that one. Offseason workouts have begun. The draft, April 27th. We are 9 days away from the draft. You got to keep going down that list until Purdy starts throwing the first week of June based on his 3-month checkup. This is not a 49ers given timeline. This is the timeline of the surgery. They don't go back into his arm and reassess how everything went until June 1st. So this is the very first cog in the wheel of trading Trey Lance. How are you going to trade Trey Lance 5 weeks before you can do an assessment on Brock Purdy's arm and when he's going to be ready? You had Kyle Shanahan talk about, we got to go back and we got to see it. So I'm scrolling down. Again, just talking about the timeline and all of those things. Here we go. Here's Kyle Shanahan talking about Brock Purdy at the time.
We start phase 1, so I expect everyone back at that time. So I think he'll do his rehab down here, and then I'm sure he'll move it to us, and he won't be able to do anything on the field for who knows. I think it can go anywhere from 6 months to 8 months. So it's all open like that. I think we'll have a better idea. They say at 3 months out of surgery, they have a better idea whether it's going to be 6 months or 8 months. So I don't know. It's how it heals, and I'm sure I'll get lots of questions from you.
So there you go. We'll know that's June 1st, not June 1st, the first week of June. I keep saying that. I apologize. Again, just to back this up, where are the 49ers in agreement? Here's John Lynch.
And, I think as I understand, around 12 weeks, we'll know a lot more. That's when he can start throwing, and that's when I think you really start to know a little bit more about timelines. But all things are going really well.
So, all right, all things are going well, but 12 weeks. When's 12 weeks? First week of June. 5 weeks after the draft. So, if you're the Niners, and let's just say hypothetically, right? I want to play this out with a couple different scenarios and flesh this out because I want to give credence to, okay, do I think Trey's getting traded? Absolutely not. I do not. Okay. But that doesn't mean I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. That's okay. So if the 49ers did trade Trey, I want to play that out. What draft picks would it take to get him? Who could you draft with that? Right? What's the high end? Again, I'm not trading Trey unless I'm getting a top 15 pick with a conditional pick next year. That's me, John Chapman. Other people are saying, oh, it's going to take a second, some change. Okay. We'll play that out. We'll see who we could draft. And I want you to be able to make your decision on what you think will happen and if it is quote unquote worth it. Right? Don't agree with me. I'm a moron. But hopefully I can provide some context in a way that's not, I don't know, clickbaity or 100% just on conjecture to what's going on here. Yeah, Joe, I was going to call my ex-wife, but John is on. Thanks, John. You saved me. Faithful since 1970. Joe, you let me know anytime you don't want to talk to your ex-wife. I will 100% fly in and save you. We are in this together, my friend. David says, I love John's sensibility. Man, appreciate that. Thank you. I really do. I really, really do. And, Shot J, he's always here, man. He's the best there is. Like, subscribe, Patreon. I love it. I love it. Dr. Steve Brule, he says teams are interested in trading for Trey. But yeah, like everybody keeps saying, he's a bust. He's trash, all those things. But teams are interested in trading him. Now, I will say this. I do not believe at all that this source is coming from the 49ers. I don't. The Niners don't like talking to Ian Rappaport and putting that stuff out there. They have not. They have never chosen to use him. Whenever he has put stuff out there, he has been incredibly wrong on speculating on 49ers future moves. It's pretty damn hard to find those, right? Did anybody know the 49ers were trading up? Nobody. Did anybody know the 49ers were trading Trey Lance? Nobody. Did anybody know the 49ers were keeping Debo? Nobody. Whenever I say nobody, I'm talking national media. Schefter, Pelissero, Garofalo, all those guys, and Rappaport, chief amongst them. None of them knew. None of them knew. None of them. And Shanahan has been adamant. This is my favorite part of today's episode. Let me just say I love Juan Salas. That man is incredible because we have built such a huge data. We've been doing this the draft will be 8 years. This will be my 8th year as soon as the draft starts of doing this show. I don't even know what episode we're on. Episode 829. And Juan came aboard. That dude is family. I love that man. And we have this giant database of all these clips from press conferences from the draft so many years ago and whatever else. We got the receipts, baby. We got the receipts. So I went digging, scrolling a ridiculous amount this morning. This is a clip. I freaking love this. This is a clip from Kyle Shanahan right after they drafted Trey Lance. And he was asked, man, why everybody thought you were taking back Jones? Why didn't you correct the media? This is a minute 20 seconds. This is the best minute 20 seconds of your day. That's what she said. Enjoy this clip. Oh, this is awesome. Just on the national media being wrong. So just enjoy right here.
I thought that could be an advantage for us, especially when you look into stuff that just came out today, stuff that, you never know with this league. And if the whole NFL is assuming you're doing one thing and you're not doing that, I'm not going to work hard. And John, we're not going to work hard to correct that. So let that be. And whatever way that went, it was going to go. And it was crazy to watch where it all went. But no one has known anything but us. So it's been fun to watch it. I haven't been in many situations in my career like that. And when you get an opportunity to go through something like that, it is really cool to find out about people in your building, how they handle it. It's really cool to kind of watch people in the media too a little bit and just see who gives opinions, who gives some sources that you watch it and it's you're like, all right, I know that's not true. So where's that? And you get to see people for 2 months and how things are. And I haven't been in many situations like that. And it was kind of neat to see. You learn a lot about your organization. You learn a lot about other people. And but you try to lower your head and you try to do what's right and not be affected by any of that. And it's just been interesting to watch, and sure glad that it's over. I'm glad that we got our guy. I'm glad we feel so good about it, and I'm just pumped to get him here.
Dude, I don't know. This is awesome. That was a couple years ago. And yeah, there's some questions to, Trey and the development, how they use them, and all. I totally understand those things. I understand that. But when have the 49ers leaked something like this? Do you remember when Kyle Shanahan got hired? Kyle Shanahan picked his GM, John Lynch. And John Lynch said, let's wait it. Let's give it a couple of days, right? Let's give it a couple of days. I want to make sure this information doesn't get out there. It was almost like a test. We knew this after the fact. We didn't know this about the time. Nobody knew John Lynch was even a name. Shanahan taps him. They hire him. Boom. John Lynch came out and said, I wanted to know what type of organization this is. So I gave him some time. I wanted to see if this would get leaked out. It didn't get leaked out. I joke around. I even made the shirt, 49ers don't leak. I understand that sometimes they do leak some things. This ain't it. Why would the 49ers go about something that is total? And even Rappaport said, this is not coming from the 49ers. This is not. I don't know, man. The same people that were like, the 49ers were reaching out about Mac Jones and all that stuff. And then it comes out like, nope, 100% that conversation never took place. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, Joe, he says Trey will stay. There's a lot of BS out there. It's interesting. Now, Purdy has happened since then. Thank you, Sparrow. Right. And again, okay, now let's go down. I love this. Thank you, Sparrow. What Brock Purdy did last year was freaking awesome. One of the most fun 49ers seasons I've ever remembered. My favorite game I have ever been to, ever, was that Miami game. Yeah, I've said this so many times. That was the most fun football game I've ever been to. I've seen the 49ers beat the Cowboys in the playoffs in Dallas, where I grew up, and laugh at all those Cowboys fans crying, which was awesome. Oh, it was beautiful. I was at the Super Bowl against, the Chiefs. That one hurt. That one should have been the best, but that's okay. But that Miami game, when Brock Purdy came in, and it was just like, no way. Oh my gosh. Like the whole time I was going bananas. Brock Purdy is incredible. Incredible. And if the Niners really do feel Brock Purdy's our guy moving forward, I think that's a genius idea. I do not mind that at all. However, championship window is open right now. We don't know about Brock Purdy. We don't know. So if you do trade Trey right now, let's flesh that out. Okay, let's go through. And again, it's so easy to say, the 49ers should trade Trey for a second round pick. Not that I'm like making fun of somebody that would say that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying, what would that look like financially? What would that look like cap wise? What would that look like pick wise, player wise, roster wise? Okay, so let's go through this. We already established Brock Purdy, you're not going to know jack squat about him till the first week of June, 5 weeks after the draft. So if you are going to trade him, you got to cover your eyes, and it's, see no evil, and you just got to walk forward into the future blindly. Sam Darnold and a rookie quarterback. Now, also on top of that, if you do trade Trey, you've got Sam Darnold. You'd have one healthy quarterback on the roster. You're going to draft one for a camp arm. You're going to have to bring in another quarterback. Okay, you have to have 3 quarterbacks for camp. Brock Purdy, 100% not going to be ready by camp. Don't care what anybody says. Timeline, 1,000% goes against that. No way possible. You just heard Kyle Shanahan say 6 to 8 months, right? 6 months. If he is ready at 6 months, again, I got it all right here. I want to make sure I don't overstep or overspeak, right? The season starts. This is the thing. The season starts September, the first week of September, 6 month, 4th week of August. Training camp starts late July. He will miss the entire training camp if he's ready the very first day, the earliest possible he could be ready. It's the 4th week of August. we're already 2 preseason games in, maybe 3. He's not going to be there. You have to have 3 quarterbacks. So if you're trading Trey, now you're adding 2 quarterbacks. Are you going to draft 2 quarterbacks? You're going to bring in another free agent, whatever else, because championship window's open. It's open now. Can't just go forward with just Sam Darnold. Do you guys? Here's another thing that I think people forget. We went through 3 quarterbacks by week 13 last year. That was the Miami game. Trey Lance got hurt week 2. Jimmy Garoppolo lasted about 10 weeks. That's kind of his average. Then it was Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy lasted about 8 weeks. Then he got injured in the NFC Championship. So you mean to tell me you're fine with Sam Darnold and DTR not knowing when Brock's coming back? And you're sitting there saying, yeah, but what if Brock comes back week 4? You're right. That would be cool. But we don't know. And you're not going to know until June, the first week of June. So again, you're operating on this entire, timeline you don't know about. You don't know how it's going to flesh out. Now, on top of that, okay, cool. Let's do this. Let's work on trade parameters. Okay. And I think this is different for everybody. And no, Tom Brady, God, no. The 49ers cap situation is rough. We're at about $2 million in cap space currently. So you bring in Tom Brady, even if he takes a team-friendly deal, $25 million. Good Lord, where are you getting $23 million? Are you going to do what Tampa Bay did and put $25 million off on a future year? Yeah, look what Tampa Bay is going through now. 49ers are building sustained success model. They're not the Rams. That's not what they're doing. They're not the Bucks. That's not what they're doing. They are building a sustained model. This isn't, Shanahan's not going anywhere. McVay, he might have a year or 2 left. Like, that dude's already flirted with retiring, right? Bruce Arians gone. This ain't that team. Shanahan going to be here for a long time. That dude's a coach and nothing but a coach. He doesn't like the media. He doesn't like press conferences. He doesn't like those things. He's not going away. McVay, he's going away. So that's why that doesn't make sense to me. But throw the cap out, I think it makes sense. But again, Brady's modeling T-shirts and whatever else now. So I'm good. So Brady ain't playing for free. If he paid for $25 million, if he took Jimmy Garoppolo's contract, we couldn't get him. Couldn't get him. Now, let's just focus on trade parameters, okay? My personal opinion, I'm going to go over here to my draft pick trade chart, and I strongly recommend, here, I'll put this in the chat here. This is what I use for the background for all draft day trades. Posting this in the comments of all platforms now. You can see the draft. You just Google NFL draft trade chart, and it pulls up. It's drafttech.com. And you can pick different teams and see it. It gives the picks values based on Jimmy Johnson's trade chart, whatever else, right? Okay. I'm not coming to the table. Houston's the most common team because, one, they have all 49ers guys, 49ers offense. They know Trey Lance, D'Amico Ryans. They've got draft capital out the wazoo, whatever else. Houston comes to calling. If I'm trading a quarterback, I'm trading him out of conference every single time, almost exclusively. I think the only team that hasn't followed those parameters recently was the Eagles when they traded McNabb to Washington. But again, I'm just telling you, that's what Shanahan's doing. And he's even said, hopefully he goes out of conference. That's a big deal. So quarterbacks, you trade them out of conference. So let's just talk about Houston because I think they have the capital to make this happen. If I'm the GM, which thank God I'm not, but if I was, here's what I would say. Houston calls D'Amico. What's up, man? Old friend. Good to hear from you, buddy. Bobby Slowick's over there, right? You got our guys. Hey, man, we want Trey Lance. Every single player. Now, this is what I think is important. Every single player is available for trade. I'm a big Trey Lance guy. Would I trade Trey Lance? Yes. For the right price. I'm not buying, what is it? Buy low, sell high. You trade Trey Lance right now, you bought high, sold low. That's not how it works. That's not good. That's not good business. That's bad business. Now, okay, but still, we're operating. That was way before Brock Purdy. Cool. All right. We're sold on Brock Purdy. John Chapman, Brock Purdy's going to be our guy in the future. D'Amico calls. We want Trey Lance. Here's what I'm saying. The conversation starts. Here's the picks that Houston has. And I think that because we're going to assign players to this based on my draft board, on our draft book that we put out. So it's not just picks, because it's easy to talk about picks. We're going to put players to them. Okay. Here we go. I'm telling D'Amico, look, dude, this conversation starts with your 12th pick. Houston Texans have the number 2 pick, the number 12 pick. Remember, they traded Deshaun Watson. It got that back from whatever. So that's there. So number 2, number 12, those are their first round picks. I'm saying this conversation starts with the 12th pick. If D'Amico, if you are not willing to include that pick, this is not a conversation we will have. Now, Texas could be like, we're interested. Let's see what we can work out. Then I would say, okay, if I was trading this deal, I'm telling you right now, and I believe Brock Purdy was the guy, I would take the 12th pick and I would say a 4th rounder next year, and then I would put conditions on it, huge conditions. Number of starts or touchdowns or whatever could become a 3rd or a 2nd, right? So I'm taking the 12th pick and a 4th next year that could become a 3rd. If he starts 10 games, if he starts every game, it becomes, or if he wins 6 games, it becomes a 3rd. If he wins 8 games, it becomes a 2nd. Something along those lines. That's what I would negotiate for. Now, here's the issue, and I'll play out what I've gone through and looked up, which players I think could be available at those points. I don't think the Houston Texans would pay that. I don't think that's the market value for where Trey currently is. Buy low, sell high, right? The injuries, but he is only 22 years old. And so that's where, man, so again, that's my starting point. Now, if you did that trade, let's just flesh it out. The 49ers get the number 12 pick. We'll go through the cap casualties of trading Trey, right? That's going to be the last thing we talk about on here. At number 12, here are my players that would be available. Michael Mayer, the number 1 tight end. He's incredible. I wouldn't spend it on him, but I'm that high on him. I would not spend it on him, however. Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. Love that dude. Edge rusher. Darnell Washington. You'd have your choice of a lot of tackles. I do not believe Paris Johnson will be there. He's my number 1 offensive tackle. I do not think Skoronski will be there. He's my number 2. Those guys will be great, but I don't think either will be there. Darnell Wright, I think the best right tackle in this class out of Tennessee would be there. And Anton Harrison, left tackle OU. So those are the types of players, depending on if you want to go tight end, edge, get your stud lineman. That's what would be there. That's why I'm saying 12 or bust. I don't want to do that. Now, for those of you that think Trey Lance is a bust and you just want to move on, Danny Tundra, shout out to Danny, he said it's going to take a 2nd and a 5th round pick to get that done. Okay, let's stick with the Texans. Let's flesh that out. They picked 33rd, and their 5th round pick is 161. So that would be for the number 33 pick and the number 161 pick. Who would be there available at those spots if you wanted to do this? I'm not saying do this. I'm saying this is what it would look like. Number 33, I would pick edge rusher out of Auburn, Derek Hall. I'm very high on him. If you wanted to go tight end, Sam Laporta. I think he would be there. If you want to go offensive line, I think Cody Mock would be there. That would be the pick. Or Blake Freeland, but I think it's a little early for him. And so now with these guys, you're getting into, man, they're not quite blue chip players. They are fits. They have upside. But, man, are you giving up on a 22-year-old quarterback for these guys? Now, the 5th pick, 161, here's guys that I have ranked at that point or below. Running back Israel Abanakananda. I'm sure I messed that up. Tight end Will Mallory. I like him a lot. Ronnie Bell, wide receiver. Michigan, 49ers have met with him. So the question is, you're giving up on a 22-year-old quarterback, the most important position for those guys. Now, you have to get into the cap, because guess what? Here's the crazy thing. It will cost you money to trade Trey Lance. You are losing more money. Trey Lance would have an $11 million dead cap hit this year. You would lose an additional $1.78 million cap hit. Additional. On what you're not getting money back if you trade him. You are losing more money. More cap, more dead cap. If you trade him, it costs to trade him because he's on a rookie deal. Now, Niners only have about $2 million. And if you get those picks, Niners would have to redo somebody's deal just to cover the loss from trading Trey Lance cap-wise and then paying those new draft picks. If you get all the way up to the 12th pick, you're talking some more money. You're talking a lot more money. So now you're having to renegotiate a player that you didn't want to free up space now, cap space now, and you're pushing it down the road. This just does not fit. You're losing money to trade a 22-year-old quarterback. Do you not see like how bad business that is? I don't know. Oh, the Godfather. What's up, Nick? Look at his AVI for those of you watching. He's wearing the gold Trey Lance jersey. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you, Nick. Thank you for the contribution on the super chat. He said, "What's up, faithful?" Anyone still thinks the 49ers aren't the most popular team in the league, just pay attention to how we seem to be the only team that's making news no matter what. And the Niners haven't even done anything. They're just sitting there. You know, I tweeted out today, right before I went live, Kyle Shanahan's laughing his ass off somewhere. Like, this is hilarious. Niners aren't even doing anything. They're just sitting there. Yeah, it's interesting to me. And so you're losing all this cap, you're losing all this stuff, and you're giving up on a 22-year-old quarterback. Ugh. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. Jude says maybe the Texans do the 12th pick if their guy isn't available when they draft at number 2. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. And, you know, we're going to be live. I'm really glad you brought that up because I think that makes good sense. We're going to be live days 1 and day 2 of the draft. Niner-centric coverage. And again, we'll be paying attention because guess what? The Texans make the most sense for a Trey Lance. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't mean they're the only team going after him. And so there are other quarterback teams that would like Trey Lance. There's no doubt about that. What if the Jets don't get a deal done with Aaron Rodgers, right? What about Washington Commanders? You know, they need quarterback help. Now it's within the division, so I don't like that as much. You know, Tampa Bay, good gosh, there's no way they're happy with what they have. What about the Baltimore Ravens and the Lamar Jackson? I'm pretty sure that's going to work itself out. But whatever. Like, there are teams out there where it's just like, man. And so as we go through this draft, yeah, we're going to be following those pretty close. Those headlines and, you know, teams that, you know, this is a spot, even though I don't think it's happening, but I want to cover that. I want to cover that. David says, John just convinced me this trade ain't happening. Go Niners. I'm telling y'all right now, Trey Lance is starting week 1, guys. He's starting this season. That's all there is to it. That's it. That's it. Logan, if we do trade someone, it's either Kinlaw or Ayuk. Man, I don't know why these, which I don't think either will happen. Yeah, I'm with you, Logan. And Niners already stated that they will pick up the 5th-year option. Yeah, talking about Ayuk there. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, Kinlaw, again, if you trade Kinlaw, you don't save any money. It cost you $4 million. Like, well, that's if you cut him. I was wrong there. I just misspoke. But let me just look because I want to make sure I'm 100% right on this. Javon Kinlaw. Okay, so if we trade Javon Kinlaw, you cut him, you lose $4 million. You trade him, you get $2 million cap relief. So what are you going to trade him for, right? You're going to get a 5th-round pick back. I'd much rather have him. Allow him to go. Javon Kinlaw, this is the last year of his deal. You're not going to pick up his 5th-year option, right? I don't think he's getting his 5th. Ayuk is. Kinlaw's not getting his 5th-year option. You let him play out this deal. He's going to sign somewhere else for, I don't know, $3 to $4 million or whatever it is. That's going to get you a comp pick. So why not get 1 year of play with Kinlaw and a comp pick instead of trading him for what the comp pick would, like, you see what I'm saying? The Niners have fleshed out their blueprint for how to sustain success and rebuild this roster. That's what it is. That's what it is. John, who do you think is Rappaport's source? It's the other teams. It's agents. It's things like that. Agents talk. Teams talk. The Niners have never demonstrated this behavior since Shanahan showed up. They haven't. Again, here's my constant, just logical argument. Did any news come out about us trading up to 3? None. Nobody knew. Did any news come out about us picking Trey Lance from the source? Nope. Everybody said Mac at 3. Did anybody come out and say, we're not trading Debo no matter what? Nope. And so again, when has this team been right? Did anybody know about the Javon Hargrave signing? Nope. Did anybody know about Joe Staley retiring? Nope. In fact, he told the team he retired a day before the draft. We didn't find out that he retired until the second day after the draft, whenever they already had the trade for Trent Williams worked out. So again, precedent's so big. I taught law for 10 years at high school level, not whatever. But whatever, we would do these mock trials and we would do all these things. Precedent is so key. And you look at the precedent of this front office and news going out to guys like Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, it's none. It's zero. So why would this be coming out now from them? Why would they buck the trend that they have set for 7 years? Because they're trying to fish it. If they were fishing Trey, I'm not saying they're not, but if they were, this isn't the way they would be doing it, right? It's different. David said it's going to be my first draft as a 49ers rush follower, man. Dude, I'll say this. I'm so pumped. I am so freaking pumped about this year. Usually we go to the draft, which I really like. When the Christian McCaffrey deal came down, it was just like, you know what? I'm just going to stay home this year because we don't have picks for a long time. And, I could just go live and whatever else. But, man, we put out so much draft content over on our Patreon channel. And on top of that, man, I'm excited because we just published all of our bets and our partners at MyBookie, man. I'm pumped about this. That's right. MyBookie is back, and we have a whole betting segment just for the NFL draft. If you want to bet NBA playoffs, that is available. If you want to bet draft stuff, NFL futures, we got you covered. And over on our Patreon, we released a whole bunch of draft prop bets that you can jump in right now, and the odds are changing all the time. We're going to have more and more of those released throughout our episodes and on Patreon. All you got to do is just click, if you're watching this, click on the QR code right next to me, or go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code 49ERS, 49ers. That's going to give you the deposit bonus up to $1,000. Now, rollovers apply, and if you have any questions, please check out their website. They explain it perfectly. But these guys are trusted. They're the best in the business. We've used them for years. The partnership, we help each other out. This is a product I believe in. Any bet that I endorse, I use my own personal money for that. And it's easy to get money in, easy to get money out. No matter what you want to bet on, they've got everything over there. So head to the best in the business, and that is MyBookie, using promo code 49ERS, 49ers, for your deposit bonus. And, hey, rack up, make the draft an even better experience. You don't have to bet a lot. I don't bet a lot. A lot of my bets are $2 to $5. Make it fun and enjoyable, and that's what we're here for. Bet anything, anytime with MyBookie. All right, we put up 20 draft day bets. And again, one of the first things I do when I wake up, I open up MyBookie, I see where the odds have changed for these different draft picks and positions and which running backs first and whatever else. But one of my fun long shot bets is Quentin Johnson, the wide receiver out of TCU, to be the first wide receiver drafted. Now, he's not my first or second wide receiver. He's not. I do have a first round grade on him, but the odds are just insanity. Bet 5 to win 37 bucks. The reason why I like that bet is because if you want a physical wide receiver, a big bodied wide receiver, you're going Quentin Johnson. He's going to be the top of your board. If you want a slot guy, yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba. But all the guys in the range of where Quentin Johnson is, they're all small, light bodies. So if you want a physical body, and again, the way that they set their odds is, oh, well, everybody has this guy as a wide receiver 1. That's great, but not every single team board is going to be the same. So the odds benefit in a way that if that hits, that's a big payday. If you want to see our other 20 bets or so that we put out so far, it's all available on Patreon. Just Google 49ers and Patreon. We're the first thing that shows up. Just type in betting and you'll see the bets. They all pop up right there. Nick, he says, hey, John, how about if this is also coming from Trey's agent, considering how they make it seem like it's Brock jobs to lose? Yeah, that makes sense. The fact that you've gone with how do I say this? Jimmy Garoppolo so long. Um, him and his agent, I think you're going to be just fine with anybody else's agent doing whatever. Jack says, man, I was looking forward to smoking some ribs with you. Man, I love it, Jack. And I love Kansas City. I went to grad school there. I was really excited about that trip. Just financially, whatever, I made the move to this full time. Kind of had to scale back some of those things. And man, I apologize, but you and my friend, we will be hanging out sometime soon. What's up, Lori? She says, Canada sees you. I'm excited about now sticking with those trips, 40 Hours Rush road trip. We're going to be traveling. Schedule comes out just after the draft. I get a lot of Canadian followers, and a lot of them keep saying they're coming to the Cleveland game. So that's really high on my list. Really excited about that. So a lot of Canadian friends, Lori, appreciate you. So that's where we're at. And kind of want to put a wrap on this, just because, again, if there's nothing else that you could take away from today's show than this, disagreements are great. See these rumors come across, and you're going to see people run wild with them. And you're going to see people saying things like, oh, the Niners leaked this, and Niners hate Trey Lance, and they've given up on Trey Lance, and all those things. Just remember this. You just heard Kyle Shanahan say, why would we correct the media? Let them run with it. That doesn't matter to us. The way we handle things in-house is different. Trey Lance will be the quarterback starting week 1. We'll see what he does with that. We'll just have to see there. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Just understand this is crazy time, okay? There's going to be more crazy stuff out there. Stay chill, relax. Just make it through this. The draft is close. I think we're 9 days away. We're all right. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Remember, Debo's off the team. They're trading Kittle. Mac Jones at 3. Remember all those things. Every single time you see craziness, just remember those things. And we're going to be all right. Until next time, really appreciate you guys. And man, I mean it, whatever I say it today. Stay strong, faithful.